Rockin Company's Rockin CU, brought to you by the family owned and operated in Colorado. 5 decades, 2 generations of historic and modern masons and general contractors. Build it with rock, build it with Rockin Company. Look at their work at rockandco.com. And we welcome the publisher of buffstampede.com, Adam Munsterteiger. Follow him on Twitter at AdamCM777. And good morning, Adam. I keep wanting to talk football, but the basketball team is in the news always.
Yeah, quite a bit of news coming out of the basketball program this week. Of course, Bill Greer getting hired to replace Rodney Billups on staff. He brings a ton of experience with him. We get news that Xavier Johnson is definitely coming back next year. And we get some scheduling news, too. They're going to play in a tournament out in Brooklyn in November at the Barclays Center. Get some good teams, Texas, Northwestern, Notre Dame in the field there. And 2 players decided to leave the program. So, yeah, definitely a lot to talk about with the men's basketball program.
I don't think the 2 losses, well, one of them's welcome to open up a scholarship because they need big players inside to see Guzenich take off. Fletcher clearly contributed to this program. Terrific player, whatever. But with 4 wing players, the addition of Xavier Johnson again this year and Derek White coming in, there's really a glut there. So if I'm Trayshawn, I cannot blame Trayshawn Fletcher for wanting to go elsewhere. 2 questions for you. Any idea where he will wind up? Some people are speculating with Rodney Billups at Denver University. And is there a big man in sight? They have got to get some height on this team. Because if they want to look like last year, both Torrey Miller and Wes Gordon will both start, and there'll be nobody big on the bench.
Yeah, to answer your initial question there, no definitive word yet on Trayshawn Fletcher. I mean, this is something that just happened a few days ago, so he'll get his release and find out what schools are interested in him. And I believe DU is kind of up against it scholarship-wise, so I don't know if they have a spot for him.
I would create one. Because if he comes in at DU, I have to believe he will lead that team in scoring, maybe even in rebounding, and he will be a star at Denver University.
Yeah, I hope they could find room for him. That would be a great fit for him without question. Like you said, the minutes just weren't going to be there for him, and this is his senior year. He's going to want to play more basketball than, barring injury, I don't think he was going to see more than about 5 to 7 minutes a game. And then, yeah, Kenan Guzenich came in from Bosnia last year, and we were kind of scratching our heads over his signing in the first place. He came in and just didn't have the athleticism to play in the Pac-12. So to your point, it's very good that frees up that scholarship. They are looking at 2016 prep recruit, a big man by the name of Lucas Seward, who's initially from Brazil. He's now goes to high school out in the Los Angeles area. CU's in the mix for him, and then there's a couple JUCO guys, bigs that they're in the mix for. And then we might hear them be in the mix for a transfer. Big men transfers are tough to come by, so we'll see how that shakes out. But, yeah, all of a sudden, a week ago at this time, if we were talking, Colorado didn't have any scholarships to play with, and now all of a sudden they have 2.
Yep, so well, let's hope that Tad Boyle's magic brings in some quality bigs. Certainly, I imagine they signed Guzenich because they didn't have a lot of other options and absolutely needed size, at least to practice with. Looking at football, the good and the bad, I'll let you tell me the good in a second. How bad is it that safety Jason Sanchez, primarily a special teams player last year, is out for the season with a torn ACL, but the defensive back lacks depth at CU?
It does, especially at safety. I think at cornerback they're going to be fine. They've got 3 talented prep guys coming in, too, to help bolster the depth there. But at safety, yeah, Jason Sanchez was not going to play a whole lot of football unless they had a lot of injuries, but it was nice to have that extra scholarship guy there. Now this spring, for this last week of spring ball, they've only got 3 active scholarship safeties, and one of them, Afolabi Laguda, has a broken hand. So at safety, they do have Nick Fisher, a true sophomore, cross-training a little bit. He's more of a natural nickelback, but he's now practicing some at safety. They do have a junior college signee, Kyle Trago, coming in the mix in June. But still, you probably need to even add another body in there. They do have a junior college recruit on campus this weekend, so we'll see how that goes. Chidobe Awuzie has played safety before, and he's played well in that role. But I think in a perfect world, you want to have keep him close to the line of scrimmage because you can disguise a few more things, show off his versatility a little bit more. I talked last week about the depth at inside linebacker being a big concern, and now all of a sudden depth at safety is a big concern as well.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about a Wouzier because I know he can play there, but love to have a corner like him, to play corner full time. He clearly better than anybody who's on a team last year, even though some of those guys will get some looks by the NFL, in my opinion. What's the good news at practice?
Well, I think we've seen some really healthy competition going on at running back. Philip Lindsay, Patrick Carr, and Donovan Lee are three guys that have consistently made big plays. McIntyre pointed those three guys out when asked about the running backs, and I talked to Darian Hagan, the running backs coach, and he really praised each of those three guys. Michael Adkins is still kind of not back to 100% in terms of his conditioning yet, and then you have Bo Bisharat, the first Rivals 250 recruit to sign with Colorado in 4 years, coming in this summer. So it's a sign of progress within this program when you have positions, unlike safety and unlike inside linebacker, where you're starting to cultivate this real competition, and running back's one of those spots for sure.
Well, I like the fact that they've got quality guys. We were all on Michael Atkins' bandwagon, but I'm a big Patrick Carr fan, and of course Lindsey brings more than just talent. He brings great intangibles, in my opinion. I love watching that guy play. He might be the most fun guy to watch in all of the Colorado Buffalo team. Colorado earlier this year, something we hadn't had time, offered sophomore Adrian Jackson at Mullen High School a scholarship. He's also heard from Colorado State and Nebraska. They both have offered. Everybody's offering sophomores now. Is this okay? Is this something that you think is good or bad for football and for the kids?
Well, I would say that if Colorado had extended, 30 offers to sophomores, that might be extreme. Adrian Jackson is a freak. You go out to see a Mullen game, even when he was a sophomore, and he already looks like he's a college freshman. He's just developed a lot faster than his peers, and it doesn't take a whole lot of time watching him play to know that he's going to be a really good college prospect down the road. And so if you're Colorado, especially with, you mentioned Nebraska in there, I mean, you've got to get in the mix now. You can't drag your feet with a kid like that. But he's a special football player. He's going to do great things at the next level.
6'2", 210, a sprinter on the track team. I guess he plays a little safety. I'm wondering if this guy won't become a fullback. Sounds like he'd be an incredible fullback.
Well, I think he might. Yeah, we saw him a little bit. I went out to the game that Mullen played against Columbine, and of course you're playing closer to the line of scrimmage, and he was playing kind of a hybrid outside linebacker rush end role, and looks really good in that. So I could see him. By the time he graduates high school, he's definitely going to be about 230, 235. I could see that being a role for him as well.
I'm on my way to a track meet when I leave here. He may be there. The Mustang Invitational up at Mountain Range. He may be there today because tons of schools are coming. I'd love to watch them sprint and see what. Hey, Adam, when is the spring game, and what's the format going to be? Is it going to be just a straight-out football game?
The spring game is next Saturday, April 9th at noon, and it looks right now like the weather might be pretty good, but of course, I don't know if we can really trust forecast that far out. But the format's yet to be determined. In a perfect world, Mike McIntyre likes to do it where he has the seniors draft teams and then go to head-to-head. It's kind of a fun format that way, and then the winning team gets steaks and the losing team gets hot dogs, and it's kind of a fun deal. I think with the lack of depth at inside linebacker and safety, they're not going to be able to do that. So you're going to see a lot of walk-ons out there during the spring game.
Thank you, Adam. Can you tell us about what's coming up? We got about 20 seconds left at buffstampede.com.
Huge recruiting weekend for the Buffaloes this weekend. You can go to the front page of buffstampede.com right now and get the latest news there. And there might be some big news coming by way of four-star wide receiver prospect Jalen Jackson coming up here soon.
Wow, we'll look forward to that. buffstampede.com, must reading. Thank you, Adam.
Thanks, guys.
And that is Rockin Company's Rockin CU, brought to you by the company that is family-owned and operated in Colorado 5 decades, 2 generations, historic modern masons and general contractors. Build it with rock. Build it with Rockin Company, rockandco.com.